It wasn't quite unanimous, but the general consensus was that I should use the white strips. So that's what I did. I also wrote a pattern because you don't have to use half square triangle blocks for this particular pattern. Crazy, right? You could take your favorite fabric collection that, you know, is your favorite today, and you could put your 12.5-inch blocks of that fabric here, 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 and wherever there's a 12.5-inch half square triangle block. Or you could maybe use a panel. Some panels come with odd sizes, not just blocks or not just one big piece. And you could put the panel piece here. Maybe it's got some longer panel pieces on either side. There are just so many things that you can do with this particular pattern. I'm going to try and put together a quilt with using just regular fabric and see if maybe it's like lickety split, and I can give you an idea of what using regular fabric as opposed to pieced blocks would look like. I really love this quilt. I almost hate that I'm gonna give it away, but that's okay. I said I would give it away. I'm giving it away. Some lucky person is going to end up with it, but I can't give it away without quilting it. So let's head upstairs, and we're gonna put this on my Grace Unique 16, and we are going to quilt it. Now, couple things before I go and start quilting it. This has been a whole lot of fun for me, and it has been a wonderful learning experience for me. I talked to Di from Sister Chicks a lot, and she wanted me to make sure to tell you guys how this changed me and the way that I feel about using smaller blocks. Normally, a 3-inch block, that's pushing it. But because I went through lots of different ways of creating these half square triangles, I know which way works best for me now. I didn't know that before. Before, half square triangle blocks were very tedious. Well, I know now that I can take my AccuQuilt, Baby Me, whatever it's called, and put it on a die, roll it through, and then I can sew it. You know how many steps that is? 2. And then I'm going to put those squares together, which makes it 3. So even though I could get more half square triangles out of 2 16-inch blocks, I would rather run my fabric through the AccuQuilt and have it just the right size so that I can just sew it and be done. You may not feel that way. You may think it is therapeutic to cut some blocks, draw on some blocks, sew some blocks, and that's fine. Everybody's different, and that's what makes this quilting journey so much fun, because I can learn a lot from you guys, and I hope that you learn some things from me. So I just wanted to share, this has been a growing experience for me. I will not be reluctant to use half square triangles in the future, because I know how I can put them together in a way that makes it work for me. And there are so many different designs that are a result of using half square triangles. It just blows my mind at what you can do with half square triangle blocks. So I'm done preaching now. 2 more things. 3 Quiltamigas, April of next year through May, 5 days, Hamilton, Missouri. Fun, friendship, quilting, prizes. The grand prize is a Juki Platinum machine. that you have the chance to win. We're gonna have door prizes all day long, games to win things, food, just, I cannot wait to go and just have a fun time, a relaxing time with all of you guys. I'm so looking forward to meeting you. Also, I am going to take the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. And I was just scrolling through the website that has the information about the trip, and something that I forget to talk about is we're going to go to the Titanic Museum. How cool is that? We're going to be in the country that built the Titanic, and we're going to get to go through the museum. And crystal etching and just beautiful, beautiful scenery. It's going to be a really, really wonderful trip. Something that you'll remember for years to come. And we can experience it together. All right, let's take this guy. We're going to use my new automation. Yay! And I'm going to get it quilted so that the lucky winner will be receiving a half square triangle quilt made by me. Fortunately, I will have batting and backing, and you won't actually be able to see the back of the quilt. Just saying. I am in my grace room. I need better lighting. How about that? I am standing in the room with my grace machine, and the first thing I need to do is load my backing. This is my backing. I have found at quilt shows, you can find packaged backing. This is 3 yards of 108-inch fabric by 108-inch fabric. It's a square. But I love 108 inches because you don't have to sew anything together. And this backing is going to match my quilt top beautifully. So this is 108 inches. The first thing I will do is load it to the back of the machine, and then I will roll it up on the front bar. The rest of my quilt sandwich will be floating. So I'll put my batting on this backing, and then I will have my quilt top on the top of that. So I'm going to play a little music, and you can speed through this part, or you can just enjoy the music and my working kind of hard. So that is the worst part, as far as I'm concerned, of loading a quilt to the machine. I didn't have a long or wide enough frame for the 108 inches. And you may have noticed that I ripped the fabric. So when you snip on the selvage and you rip it, then you are ripping straight. Let me show you. So the way fabric is cut isn't necessarily straight. So this is the edge of my fabric. And then this is the edge that I tore. And when I tear it, it will tear straight. So this edge is straight, regardless of whether or not all of this fabric between the edge and the other edge, between the two edges, is the same. So actually, this is a little off, and the only reason I know is because when I fold it. If you see, when I fold it selvage to selvage, and these two edges together, it is not perfectly straight. So this was a little bit off. And I learned that because there is a quilt shop in Kentucky, Golden Threads, and that's how they cut their fabric. And since then, I've actually been to another fabric shop, and it just depends on who you get. Some people aren't comfortable with tearing fabric, and some people are like, you know what, that's the only way to do it. That makes sure that you get all the fabric that you asked for. And these guys, they're very strong magnets. Now, I have another step. I'm going to put these down before I hit myself in the head. I've rolled this up. Now I need to roll all of this on this front roller. Now that I've maintained my machine, I need to load the thread and the bobbin for this quilt. I have chosen smoky quartz because I don't want my thread or my stitching to take away from my half square triangles. So I'm going to use this on both the top and the bottom. I happen to have pre-wound bobbins from Grace in smoky quartz. Yay! So I don't have to wind any bobbins. Now that I have my quilt back loaded, I'm ready to load the next part of my quilt sandwich, which is the batting. So I've cut my batting to what I believe it should be cut to. And I need to open it up. Now, batting has two sides. Batting has a wrong side and a right side. So if you look, the wrong side, when you feel it, is not as smooth as the right side. So I want the wrong side on the backing. I honestly don't know if you can tell if the wrong side is on the right side once you are done with the quilt, but I am not going to question it. However, if you quilt a quilt and you realize at the very end that you've quilted your quilt with the right side of the batting touching the backing, I would not have a do-over. And last but not least, my quilt. Now I can either load it long side on the backing, on the batting and backing, or I can load it top to bottom. I, however, I'm going to do the long side because there are fewer passes if you load it this way, which means it takes less time to quilt. My half square triangle challenge quilt has been quilted. The only thing it's missing is the binding. I have this pretty floral fabric and I don't have a lot. I mean, this is it. This is all I have. And I'm hoping that there is enough for me to get the binding. When I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it probably isn't enough. So if there's not enough of this to do the binding, then I'll use the Tula Pink that I didn't put as the binding. And I think that'll look really cool. If you would like the opportunity to win this quilt, then I'm going to put a Google form link in the description below. You will fill in your email address and I'll ask a question just to kind of get an idea of what it is you like watching on my channel or what you want to see in the future. And then I will look for the winner's name in my inbox at aprilscraftroom@gmail.com. And I will draw until I have a match with the winner to an email with pictures in my inbox. So if you haven't sent me your pictures yet, send them. Here are some of the pictures that I've received in my email from those participating in this half square triangle challenge. A big shout out to my friend Joe for buying me several cups of coffee. I really appreciate it. It was fun seeing you at the Busy Lady Quilt Shop this past weekend. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. Blah, 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 blah,